Chase, welcome to Anthem. How are you feeling?
Goodbye to Anthem.
Oh man, what a bummer. What a fucking thing. Like, I know you don't care about this game. You have painfully for 7 years dragged
Okay, hang on. Let's not get revisionist history around here. I was interested in Anthem. It was a new BioWare game. And
Yeah.
after Mass Effect Andromeda, which we were all trying to wash the taste out of our mouths. So I was
You were also
Anthem
of the
up.
camp though that like, hey, I got Destiny. Everything had a shadow. It was in.
You're right. This was not the kind of game that I wanted from BioWare, but it was a new BioWare.
I don't think it's the kind of game
RPG.
BioWare wanted.
It was a mech game. I'm kind of into these things. I played the demo. I was excited to get in there, and then it wasn't quite what I was looking for, and apparently it wasn't quite what many people were looking for, and then it died, and now it's dying again.
Yeah. I think you've made fun of.
I just got out early. That's my.
You didn't even get into it. A lot of people had a hard time getting into it when it launched for a while, and then they continue to have a hard time getting into it. Look, Anthem, maybe someday we'll do a deeper dive into this game, but I think there was a lot of trouble around it, and it's a very far from perfect game, but goddamn, man, there was so much fun with this. I still think from a game feel, this has some of, I don't think anything has matched how it feels to move around in one of these suits. So
I did enjoy the flying.
Yeah. I will say this. I played this on Xbox a lot. I'm playing this today on a PC via the EA app. We have very little things unlocked in this game at this point tonight, but we're going to be able to do some missions. We'll have some fun with it. We might even see some other people in here. But let me get us over here into a bigger screen while we're doing this here.
Sure. Get us off this nice new layout that you've set up.
Oh, thanks. I got to make sure that this is fitting the screen. It looks a little zoomed in on stream right now. Let me.
Yes, it does.
Reset.
Well, while you do that, I will go ahead and tell the audience that this game dies completely on January 16th. So this is
the 12th, I think.
Shut down. I saw the 16th.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
I've seen the 12th a few times, but maybe they're pushing it out a little bit. Maybe they're giving us a little bit more Anthem before we don't get any at all.
Hopefully not.
I'm playing as a Storm, by the way.
Okay, I'm seeing 12. I don't know why I saw 16 before, but January 12th, Anthem will soon be completely unplayable.
You've not been able to buy a digital copy of this since early last year.
Sure, that makes sense. Knowing that it's going to be shut down, they don't want people to buy it.
If you have it in your library, you could download it again. That's what I did here.
Sure,
but
sure.
This,
and
I
no
remember
cross progression. I'm guessing so
no cross progression.
Yeah,
I don't even think it has crossplay. I remember a couple of years ago, like this game was selling for a penny at GameStop. But I think more importantly, you and I were talking a little bit before we got in here. There's still shitty songs out there you can hear whenever you want to. There's still shitty movies and TV that you can watch. Like whether a game is good or bad, like it just sucks from a preservation standpoint that like you won't be able to play this thing anymore. Like that, there's definitely like a single player game here to a degree. But a lot of it you still need other people for. But I wish that there was a way that like they had like some sort of private service where people could do that if they wanted. Like just taking it fucking away is shitty.
It's why I'm extremely disappointed by service games as a whole. Not necessarily complete live service games like a Destiny, but any game that requires servers like this. Bums me out, especially the ones that have single player elements and having those get lost in the shuffle too. I think
absolutely.
it's one of the worst trends. 3D is certainly, or not 3D. VR is certainly the worst trend in my mind. But this one has been more pernicious anyway for the amount of games that it has just kept us from playing anymore.
Yep. We're just gonna be doing some fucking quests, hanging out, doing this shit, flying around. Sure. Again, playing as a Storm. I have a Colossus unlocked, which is like the big tanky boy. But Storm is and was the best class. Like, anybody who says differently are liars and uneducated on
what are the other two? There was like the normal Iron Man
Ranger and then Interceptor, which is like the melee, like super fast glass cannon.
I see. Okay, like a rogue kind of stuff.
Yeah. Right. This is more of your mage.
Yeah, you're using like elemental blasts and stuff like that.
Really getting into some of those combos that you can do with it.
Yeah. I thought the flying of this was cool. I liked the kind of cooldown system of if you're flying and you go through a waterfall, it cools
or go
you down
underwater
to be able to continue flying. Yeah, like there's that stuff seemed really good. When I started disliking the game was when I got into the combat, and I didn't feel like it felt so big and dynamic when you're flying around, and then when you got into combat, I felt like you were much more contained in the combat, and that didn't feel as exciting.
I love the combat on this. Let's see here. I'm running an ice and electric, which was kind of the two elements I rocked when I was playing this most of the time. Okay, we need to get a little bit closer for them. I'm gonna switch over I have a auto rifle as well.
And you're just playing this solo right now. You don't have any.
Yeah, I mean, people can join in if they want to, but there's like I've only had like maybe one other person pop in on certain things.
Yeah.
And I don't really know what to expect right now with this. Okay, we got a big fucking guy. Let's get up a little bit higher. And
well, I mean, still being the 5th, there's like another week of this.
I think this weekend will be pretty big for it.
Yeah, I bet that's probably when some people show up. Now, in Anthem, I think of when I'm thinking about these kinds of games, I'm thinking about Destiny, which is a game where you have these public areas where you can have a lot of people in a zone at any one time. And
absolutely.
You have these more instanced places like strikes or raids or stuff like that. So, refresh my memory. How does Anthem work? Can you how many players can be in an area at one time?
Dude, I honestly do not remember what that like. This world, when I was playing this in its prime, like there would always just be like people kind of flying around, fucking around, and doing shit, and it's just not. It's empty. It is so empty and barren right now. It's pretty depressing.
That's just right now though, because nobody's playing it. But when it was being played,
I think it was 4 people in your like fire team, if I remember correctly, 3 or 4. I would think going in and doing like your standard missions or strikes. And I think that they had expeditions that maybe you could do 5 or 6. I might be misremembering that, but I do think that was the caps for most of it. But I remember like 4 people, 3 people, because there's a lot of emphasis on comboing. What the fuck am I supposed to be looking for here? Right. Is it up here? Oh, there it is. It's like, where the fuck is that?
But is this like a public space where like you have a fire team and maybe there's like another fire team?
There are just like free plays that you can link up more organically. This is a mission. So if somebody wanted to do this mission, it would match make them with me right now.
That makes sense. Okay.
So this is an actual mission that we loaded into. I'll do free play after this. And that's where you can just like find shit, build your mass and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't have the ability to combo very well right now, unfortunately, even though I'm using elements that do. I'm not freezing people. I'm just hitting them with like a really big ice shard. I'm about to overheat. Let me chill out for a minute. We'll play this on the ground for a second. All right, we're good. I was trying to remember some of the story beats, like for being BioWare, like I didn't think the story was great. Oh, we got turrets here? What the fuck? Let me get behind this thing.
I mean, this is also it's tough to say, but like the A team of BioWare people who worked on all the BioWare stories you know and love weren't necessarily still here during the Anthem days. So it doesn't surprise me that the story of Anthem is maybe a little less cooked than some of this.
Well, they kind of introduced what was supposed to be their big threat. Like the whole thing was like the very last second, and that you were going to get into it when Anthem 2.0 came out, and that obviously very famously never happened. So the story was like, that was the part too where people were just like, I've played a lot of this and it's just fucking boring at this point. Like there's nothing here. It was incredibly grindy. Like it was a very slow moving ship for, if you look at how this genre has evolved, like the attention span people have to like get hooked on one of these, much shorter than like at what we knew at the time here.
Sure. I mean, how much, again, my only real frame of reference is Destiny, which has a ton of story. Not all of it good, but there's certainly a lot of it in there. But you play a lot more of these kinds of games. How much story do you feel like you're getting from a game like The Division or like?
I think you're getting quite a bit for The Division. Okay. You had like that big virus threat, some good like narco-terrorism and like domestic terrorism shit happening there with it.
Well, that was like the premise. Like, did they continue to evolve that story?
Oh yeah, you went to New York. You were like looking for more agents and like double agents and shit. Like, I think The Division actually came to it pretty authentically when it came to story stuff. It wasn't the main thing that drew you to that game by any stretch, but they definitely gave it a try.
Yeah. And like Arc Raiders, I know you're probably still playing some Arc Raiders.
Oh yeah.
Like that's a game where, you know, probably just part of me not having played it, but I don't really see or hear about the story of a game.
They're
like
trying
that.
through cutscenes, but yeah, I'm not there for that.
Yeah, because it's mostly a game about going out, finding your ship, leaving, and doing the loop.
100%.
And so many of those games do feel like they're about the loop. And you know, Destiny is certainly
we got somebody here
as well. Oh, sweet. Who you got? Mr.
Maladroit?
Maladroit, nice.
Yeah.
Or Major, sorry, that's Major Maladroit.
Sorry. Yeah.
There's a J.
He's worked too hard.
Yes, like don't misattribute him.
But yeah, so this is like one person. We've been playing for what, 10-ish minutes?
Sure. Some other poor, sad soul.
Everybody's in their feels, man. Who would have thought that we would have been nostalgic for 2019? I think it was. Yeah, February 2019 is when this came out. There's a lot of reasons to look back and want more from that time period.
There's a lot of reasons I would rather go back to February 2019 right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, let's go back even further.
Yeah. Absolutely, let's go back further. All right, where is he going? Is he heading to our mission objective? Looks like he is. Who we got up here? All right, what's he playing as?
Tell what frame he's using?
Yeah, he's more of like just that default Iron Man. This will go pretty good. He'll be able to pull a lot more. I'll try and stay above him a bit more.
And that was much more of like an all-arounder kind of.
Yeah, you start the game with that, and then it's like, okay, cool. Like, what do you want? And a lot of people just kind of stay with that, but I feel, once you know, like, just grab it right there, because then you have to go like to level 8 before you get your next frame, or javelin as they call it.
Right, javelins. That's what they're called.
I
remember. I think I tried all of them in the demo. I really did not like the rogue kind of class.
That was not my favorite.
That did not. Feel
Some people really did fucking numbers with that thing, though.
Oh, I'm sure. I enjoyed the big guy.
He's a lot of fun.
Just because he felt the most straightforward to me as somebody who's. You know, he didn't fly around as much, but it felt like he was a little bit more traditional in terms of a shooter. You know, maybe again going back to the Destiny background of playing Titan. You know, set up my big shield, shoot my big gun.
Absolutely, pop a dome,
do stuff around me. Yeah, like that.
But weren't you like really big into the Hunter, if I remember correctly?
I started as Titan and then eventually swapped to Hunter at some point because I didn't actually really like the big shield, and the Hunter had some really cool stuff that it was doing. So I then moved over to Hunter for quite a long time, and then I went back to Titan at some point because
Yeah.
I first loves.
Yeah, I was a Warlock. I mean, Storm and Warlock kind of work well together.
Yeah.
Also, I wish this guy would just skip the cutscene. I don't need to see Owen again. I think this game looked pretty good by 2019 standards. It played really well.
Graphically, I mean,
yeah, I think it looked cool.
I think it still looks good.
Hmm?
I think if this game came out with the same graphics that it has right now, I'd say, yeah, man, that looks like a nice looking video game.
I don't know. I just don't think that this is in like the DNA of BioWare to run a game like this. Like, I don't, even if they would have fixed it, like would they have wanted to keep this thing going for 10 years plus?
I mean, that was the story, right? Is that they only made this game this way because EA was pushing them to do it, right?
Yeah, I think that this was starting differently. Yeah, they were. EA's like, fuck, we have to have one of those. Build it. Who can make BioWare? You might be able to do this. Go do it. Make one of these.
Yeah. Who's our Bungie? Well, I guess it's BioWare. Let's see what they can do.
And I would wager that at this point, like, I don't think that the tables have soured quite to what they have for BioWare. But I think Bungie has fallen far out of favor for a lot of people in the last few years. But I don't think it's BioWare levels.
But I would say that Bungie also succumbed to Bungie's success in the same way that BioWare also did.
Yeah.
Because now they're forced to keep making these kinds of games. Because that's how they make their money, is they have to make another live service game. Destiny did so well, I guess we've got to make another Destiny, right? And whether they make another Destiny or they make a Marathon, like whether they make Marathon, which is basically just another Destiny except less.
Yeah, who knows what they're going to do that.
But like Bungie too, like they have to keep making these kinds of games. They can't. I guess they feel like they can't go back to making a Halo kind of game, and that sucks because I wish we had more Halo-like games and less Destinies.
I don't really know what to expect there, man. Like, are they going to do more? Do you think that they're going to make a Destiny 3 at this point?
I think they have to, right? Like, the Destiny 3 is the only thing they could do at this point to pull back a big audience. But they also would have to do it right, because it would also kill them if they did it badly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So it's tough. I mean, they're going to try. They wanted. I think Marathon was the idea, is that
let's do something different.
This could be our way of creating something huge that's not Destiny, so then we can be safe and build whatever we want, whether it's another Destiny or whether it's a completely new title that's not one of these live service games that we need to like make sure our bread gets buttered and then we're safe to do something else. But then when Anthem was so like it's not even out yet, and that game was so poorly received, now they're stressing and struggling because even the new thing that they're putting out isn't necessarily saving them. So the next thing they do, if they get another thing to do at this point, has immense pressure.
Do you have a game out there that you lost to a server shutdown or anything like that? Is there anything that has pained you?
I mean, to an extent, Destiny is that.
That's fair.
Because the Destiny we have now, or the Destiny 2 we have now, is not the
You just
Destiny
have Star Wars now, and you hate Star Wars.
But Destiny 2, there's stuff that's gone. There's content of that game that we played, story missions and weapons and events and all sorts of things, maps, planets that you cannot go to anymore because they don't exist anymore in the game.
Just gone.
It's not the same game anymore. In terms of like a complete game that I lost, I can't necessarily think of one off the top of my head. I'm sure there is something that I played like a while ago that was maybe a multiplayer game that only had like some kind of server stuff that's gone. But like I said, I don't love playing these kinds of games because I know they will go away at some point, and
Yeah.
and I kind of just avoid them knowing that.
I you know, I I made the comment to you. I've had plenty of time to play this game if I really wanted to, but I haven't. But I've thought about it. I've thought about this game a lot since I've played it, and mostly about like I really wish this was in a different state than it is, and it sucks that I won't get to play it. I've been playing a little bit of this in preparation for our stream tonight, and I've had a great time. Like I immediately picked this back up and was like, yeah, this was a fun thing. I enjoyed playing this, but like it's also hard knowing that this is a game that you were playing thinking that you were making a build to kind of like grow with you. And so as I'm playing, I'm like, I know my ceiling. Like I'm gonna hit a ceiling here before too long, and there's just not gonna be anything that comes with it. So that's a bummer for sure.
Yeah,
we got some nice upgrades there. Let's put some of those on. I'll tell you my least favorite part, and they did tweak this at least 2 times back in 2019, is this area here. I still feel you move like a fucking slug when you were in this first person view, and it's such a small, tight area. Like it does not feel nearly as big as other hubs. But I can skip through this. I just feel like this stuff is such a fucking slog. Like when you're having to go and like collect shit and get missions, oh fuck me, man. This was a pain to do.
yeah,
And this is faster than what it was. I will say that much, but it is still painful. Like this is as fast as we can go. And I know what they're going for. They didn't want it to feel like an MMO hub. They wanted it to feel a bit more bespoke and lived in and authentic.
Having it be in first person is an interesting choice. I mean, I think it makes it feel slow because it's in first person compared to when you're in third person. The camera zoomed out a little bit more. It probably feels like you're just going faster, but also you're in the mech suits that zoom around and fly around. So
Correct.
Of course it's going to feel slow. It is an interesting choice for this hub to be in first person. I think that's why they can make it smaller. And it probably, I think they probably correctly surmised that when you're in first person, you're closer to these characters. The camera is closer to these other characters you interact with, so you can get more. You can build more of a relationship with them. You know, I feel bad just continuing to bring up Destiny all the time, but when you go and you talk to a character at the tower in Destiny, yes, it's all in third person, but then when you start talking to them, the camera shifts and zooms in on just that person. So that is kind of Bungie's way of getting around that same problem.
Yep.
But BioWare decided let's do this first person thing instead, which I don't think is a terrible choice. But you're right, it does feel slow to walk around this area.
Let's see if you know who this actress is.
Hey, freelancer. I figured you'd be back.
Why is that?
Maybe because we might have the best compounds in the fort.
Oh, is that Kristen Shaw?
Yep.
Yeah. It's a little tougher to hear through the Discord, but
yeah.
It sounded like sounded like my girl.
She had some real good fucking zingers in here. She runs one of the freelancer shops. Anyway, she's like her, and then the director of District 9. He did a
Neil Blomkamp?
Neil did like a 9-minute cinematic trailer of all live action javelins and shit. And yeah, it was.
I know he's a big gamer. He was supposed to do the Halo movie for a long time, and then didn't. And then and then the Halo TV show came out, and nobody wanted that movie anymore. That's for sure.
Nobody wanted that. I think I got a better assault rifle, or yeah, I'll put that on. No, is it better? No,
I've been slowly getting through What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show.
I love that show, man.
I watched the movie and really enjoyed it, and then I've been just very slowly picking at the show every once in a while, and I'm somewhere in the middle of season 2 now. So I've just seen. I think season 2 starts with Kristen Shaw as like Yeah, she's like she's like some kind of, there's like a big council, and she's like the one who brings them to the council. But she has some good lines.
She's really good.
Yeah.
Is that a better one? Ooh, that's better armor. Windfall. No, we'll leave that one. Okay.
I also remember her from the first couple episodes of Mad Men, because she's in the not the secretary, the operator room, when all the women had to actually like put the pins in to get the calls out.
I remember her mostly from Flight of the Conchords and Bob's Burgers.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Bob's Burgers especially, but yeah, Flight of the Conchords, that's a pretty good show too.
All right, Strongholds just got unlocked, so we are about level 9.5, and Strongholds are the combat focus. That's like the strikes, basically. So, let me. Is there somebody close by to talk to? I don't want to go all the way over there. Let's just go do it. I don't want to do that. Let's get in here, and I will find an area for us to go. Okay, so this is the free play. They also had seasonal stuff. Heart of Rage was theirs. Strongholds. This is an expedition. There's also legendary shit you can get, quick play. This usually just helps you go in and help people. So if you just want to play with others, do that. But we're going to do free play and see if we can find some stuff to get into, and do that. It's public, so anybody who's doing this will be in the same instance. We can all hang out and fly around. Chase, I've been working on, well, we've been doing a lot. Like, this is our first stream since 2025.
That's true.
We've done a little visual updating. We've done some show structure update, kind of late 2025, but mostly for 2026. Getting down to 2 streams a week, really overhauling our approach to deep dives, still keeping some of our formatting with like monthly previews, our game of the year content, and then what you've been playing, of course. But feeling pretty good. Like, I think there's some fun games to talk about this week. I've been looking ahead as we've overhauled our kind of Friday and Monday stream to be a bit more open to what we're playing. And I think there'll be some cool stuff to show you as we get moving through the new year here.
Yeah. So this Wednesday is our January preview, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so excited for that. But I guess I want to warn both the audience and you.
Yeah.
That because, as you said, this is our first episode back since our Game of the Year stuff, and we've had this break. I imagine we both have played a handful of video games since the last time. You think you expect to have a bigger what you've been playing section for this episode?
No, I was just planning on talking about one game since we normally do that for the monthly previews. But
I would be fine doing that. But I've got lots of games I could talk about.
Well, I would much because you typically don't play a lot of games.
I did when I was on my break.
Well, you can stretch that out though.
All right.
Because I think that I would much rather focus on the new stuff for the preview episode and try and retain some of that other focus for.
Right. I'll save it.
That's what my plan was. Like, I have one game I was going to share Wednesday night, but we can talk through it. I mean, there's a decent amount of games on that list for early in the year. I don't want to take the wind out of your sails when I say that. Like, I'm open to partnering on.
I would need to look back at the preview. I know I put it together over the weekend, but I don't remember what I put on it. I don't think I had many things that I picked, but of course, that's me.
You picked one game.
I picked one game, and Bobby's... So far, Bobby has 6.
Yeah, that's on brand.
That is on brand for both of us, I think. All right, fine. We'll just do a regular preview episode, and then next week we can get back in.
Really marinate in it, because there's.
What did you do over the break?
I don't think that the game that you've picked, one, I don't think you were going to play it when it launched. 2, I don't think it would have even launched by the time we recorded our next episode, right? Or this episode. I'm sorry, like next week, not this week.
Yeah. Well, the game for the preview, yeah, but like that's that's not a game I was worried about talking about. I've been playing stuff during the break. You know, we had our backlog game of the years and things like that. I've been gaming.
Well, what we did is we took 2 weeks off instead of just like the one, and I think that led into a preview episode. So
yeah,
traditionally we haven't had this problem in the past, but I mean, problems probably an over exaggeration here, but what is this guy doing? What are you doing?
I will tease you though, and say that I've played a little bit of a lot of games, and I've played a lot of bit of one game. So I don't know if the lot of bit one is going to be talked about this Wednesday, because I kind of want to.
Is the lot of bit one that we could play together?
No.
Yeah.
But
is it a game that I even want to hear you talk about?
Maybe.
Is it Hades?
No, it's not Hades.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, Wednesday will be fun. I'm looking forward to talking about stuff and getting back into the swing of things with the previews.
Yeah, I figured like we have. Also, you're doing the deep dive this month, right?
I am doing the deep dive. Yeah.
How you feeling about that?
I still need to do the research for it and get it all written down, but I think it'll be a fun concept that you will be intrigued by.
Nice.
Yeah.
This guy is about to get crushed. Let me get one more hit on. There you go.
I will be very interested to know to learn whether you played or have even heard about the game that I'm going to be talking about.
So, I think I told you, this is not an endorsement, by the way, but there's a website called Infinite Backlog that interfaces with Steam and PlayStation and Microsoft, and it pulls in every game that has been associated with your account, whether you've played it or not, and it'll import it based on the state of the game. So like if you haven't played it, it'll come in that way. If you've beaten it, it'll come in that way, etc. And man, I am being reminded about a lot of shit on 360 that I played that I just have not thought about or remembered playing.
Yeah.
And that's been a real fun thing to kind of go through and take a look at. All right, I think we did this here. Chase, can the audience anticipate a wheel spin Wednesday night?
Yeah, I think so. I think we can get back to doing the wheel. Because I only have one game that I'm picking for the month of January, I think I'll have some time. Although I will say one of the games that I am playing right now is a game that was/is on the wheel.
Okay.
So I'm technically already doing that.
What year is it from?
I'm not going to tell you the year. I feel like that starts to give it away. But we'll. I think a wheel spin would be just fine as well. I think I can do 2 games as well.
Nice.
For backlog stuff, I can do more than 2 games this month, for real.
Hell yeah. I've played a lot of stuff too. Mostly, well, I'll talk a lot about stuff there's a lot of games that we're going to be talking about that are coming out this month that I've played. Not from like an advanced copy of it, but like more from like a play test or a demo or like I've got some of those.
Access, yeah.
Whenever we like preview, I'll say a little bit about like, hey, you can expect this or that. Like it won't be a traditional what you've been playing, but there's other stuff that I have been playing that's new that I'm excited to spread out and start sharing. And I think I have a gap. Like there's a big game coming out tomorrow morning that I'm very excited about, have been for a while. So I'll be playing that for sure and talk about that next week. But I think there's like a few week gap before a lot of the stuff hits that I'm excited for.
Well, let me ask you while you're doing this. What's the enemy here? What are you fighting here in Anthem?
There's a few different things. So you're fighting against pirates or operators. This year's outlaws, but there are more like creatures that you'll go up against that are alien. There's a lot of an ancient tribe type thing, ancient civilization thing that's coming back and wanting some certain powers, and there's been corruptions and tears and these cataclysms that are happening, and some pretty generic paint by numbers stuff when it comes to sci-fi shit. But I guess interesting things to shoot at is probably a better way of putting it. There'll be like colossi and stuff like you'll take out that are real big. There's some cool world events. These guys are tougher because they have some of the same gear that you have, which can be a bit of a problem to cut through if you don't have the right elemental stuff going with it.
Yeah. Yeah, again, like from a Destiny perspective, I liked that there were different factions for Destiny.
Yeah, totally.
But it felt like all the factions had, here's a handful of more or less human-sized enemies.
Yeah, bipedal shit.
And then each of them has one or two bigger things to fight. I think the enemy design in Destiny was less interesting than I wanted it to be. It felt like, okay, you've got the Vex, who I think are an interesting kind of faction. They're all robots that have a hive mind, and that's cool. And then most of them were just human-sized robots, and then there was one that was a slightly bigger human-sized robot, and then there were some little tiny things, and then there was like the one big one that you fought. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But then the next faction was the Fallen, and okay, they've got guys that are about human/guardian sized, and they've got a couple little smaller guys.
That's from the Taken King, right? Remember that correctly?
No, well, Taken King, that's the Taken's. No. Fallen is the first, the kind of like bug looking dudes.
Yeah.
The Taken were Taken was kind of a super boring thing, because the Taken was just what if
a reskin, right?
Reskinned all the same models that we already have, but they're all black now because they're all Taken. I like the story conceit behind the Taken, but I don't like that it was just a fourth faction, but now it's also just more dudes that you've seen. Or I guess a fifth faction. But everybody seemed like they had the same kind of shit. Here's the minor one, here's the major one, here's the boss one. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I don't love that.
I like that Anthem seems like it has a little bit more variety, at least to its enemy designs. Here's some creature guys who look and act way differently than
these guys have been way more challenging.
Fighting right now.
Also doing it solo, not the best.
Sure. But like these guys are roughly human sized, and that's like one faction.
Yeah, they're wearing javelins.
You fought, okay, so those definitely feel like your kind of guys. But then you have another thing they're all like little spiders, and they're all crawling around the world like that. Like they're not just another bipedal race of things that you're fighting.
Yeah, and that's been it was interesting then, and I remember it got to be a point where like you had to have a good crew, like a fire team, because there's a lot of ground shit that like the Colossus could pull in. There would be stuff that starts to like be more elemental. There would be stuff that would be coming in and hitting you. Like there's a lot of shit that just required some coordination that I'm not getting here right now myself. Also, my class, while not a glass cannon like the Interceptor, is pretty squishy in comparison. So like not the best solo. Like some people, like if you don't mind doing it slow and playing from a distance, you'll be good. But it's always fun with other people. The Colossus and the Storm is really fucking tough to beat when it comes to a combo. My cousin Jason, he played as a Colossus and I played as a Storm, and we had so much fun.
Yeah. I imagine that's also why a lot of people would go with that Ranger all-arounder, because
that's their solo build.
Yeah, that is kind of a very basic. This guy can do most everything and
lives
through a decent amount of things. So, if you're playing this game solo, which most people were, because there weren't a whole lot of people playing it, it makes a lot of sense to go with that kind of class.
Are you looking for a Destiny replacement?
Fuck no.
Like,
I watched a couple of the Destiny YouTubers that I still follow I don't really watch most of their videos, but I decided to watch a couple today, and I went, man, it was both ends of the spectrum, where I was like, wow, this looks exactly like the same game that I left.
Yep.
I don't really feel the need to go back. And then some of the things they were talking about, I went, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about or how that relates to anything that's going on. And it was almost the worst of both worlds, where it felt too familiar, but also I was completely lost. instead of the other way that I would like it to be of this feels completely new and exciting, but I still have a grounded idea of what I'm doing, and what I would be expected to do. So I have no interest in going back to Destiny at this point, and I very much do not want another one of those kinds of games anytime soon.
Well, I got news for you. I don't think people outside of Jim Davis, right? That's the guy that's retiring or was over at PlayStation, right?
No.
What's his
Jim
name?
Davis is the creator of Garfield.
No. What's the guy that just left? He sucked.
Jim Ryan?
Jim Ryan, thank you. Jim Ryan is like the only person who really wants that shit. Jim Davis maybe, but
there's also a professional Magic player named Jim Davis, and he has to constantly say, "I'm not that Jim Davis."
He wishes. Oh God, there's a lot here. But anyway, I don't think that studios are really banking on games as a service anymore.
I would hope that they've seen enough of them fail at this point that they would go, okay, we shouldn't do that. But we're still getting them. Like Arc Raiders is, not exactly the same thing, but it is still certainly a service game.
That just hit 3.2 million players yesterday.
And that's why it's not going away. Helldivers is not exactly like a Destiny, but it's enough like a Destiny that's what those companies want. That's what Sony wants out of Helldivers, is a game that people keep playing. That's what Battlefield 6 is trying to be. Like EA still wants this. They still want people to continue playing these games as forever games. I don't like them. I don't want them to keep doing it, but
I think
they succeed or fail, they keep making them.
I think that there's always going to be, like, those games desperately want a hardcore player. And, Luke Smith famously said, like, we want you to play other games. That's bullshit. That's always been bullshit for them.
It wasn't at the time. It truly wasn't, because that was the way that Destiny was structured with those expansions. Is here's a new expansion. It's a big chunk. Everybody comes back and plays the game at the same time. They all get their stuff. You get all the new weapons. You see all the new story. And then, you kind of chill out. There's a subset of those people who are going to be really hardcore and want to play the PvP and do raids and stuff like that and get the super high level gear. But for most of the people, it was you can play that Destiny expansion, and then you can spend another 6 months playing whatever else, and then you get another Destiny expansion. And it was great. I loved that. But I think they realized at some point that wasn't as financially viable, or rather it was more financially successful to keep people playing all the time, because then you can better sell them cosmetics. You get more opportunities to sell them cosmetics, and more you get the investors to see that playtime is constant, so nobody asks those questions. When you go to a job interview and they go, oh, what's this gap about? It would be the same thing, I imagine, with the video game of like, well, why didn't anybody play the game during this period? And it probably was not a good enough answer for Luke Smith to say, oh, we tell them not to play the game.
Sure.
But I think at the time it was true. That is how Bungie viewed that, and that is how the community viewed it. And I can't speak for everyone. I'm sure some people didn't like that model, but I loved that as somebody who plays a lot of different video games. I didn't want to play Destiny all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
When they started forcing you to play Destiny all the time, and having those weekly events, or having events that would go on for weeks, and you'd have to come back and get a little taste of it each week, I found that really tiring. I did not like having Destiny as part of my routine. I didn't like that every Tuesday it was like, oh, it's reset day, and now I've got to go do my 12 different things I do in Destiny, and not get them all done on Tuesday. So I got to go back on Wednesday and do a couple more of them, and well, maybe I got to do something more on the weekend because now I've got to complete my playtime that's required to get the upgrade level or whatever.
Well,
Phew,
and I think that's
just
why
when it becomes a job and a
Right.
life, and I don't want that.
People will tell you that's one of the reasons why I think Arc Raiders has been as successful as it has been, is that it's a very casual game in a lot of ways. Like, it's a game that you don't have to spend a ton of time being ready for other shit. Like, I haven't played it for a few days, and I don't feel like I would be missing anything at this point to get into it outside of like their seasonal stuff. I feel that's also a game like you can load a free kit and be just as effective as people who've been playing it like all day long. And so you get this idea where it's like, oh, I can play that with other people who are really good and still have fun. I don't have to buy an expansion. I don't have to, oh, I can't do that yet, or I have to go and do this if I want to get that armor. Oh, I'm only a level 600. Like, all that shit became kind of just like, I just want to hang out with my friend and play this game. Like, what do I need to do to make that happen? How do we get back to this playing that shit?
We've been attributing so much of this to Destiny, but that is a little bit missing the point of all the other kinds of games that inspired even Destiny. Like the games that I think of most are your MMOs. Like World of Warcraft is the one that really did this to us, right?
Yeah.
That was kind of the first game it felt like could be a forever game. This was the game that you would, you'd buy the one game, or you get buy a monthly subscription to this one game, and you'd come back to it day after day after day. You'd play with your friends there. It was a social thing. It was, there was always something more to do, always something more to level up. And then we'd continue on with expansions, so there would always be more new stuff happening. And that way of playing games is something that then Bungie was like, okay, well, what if we made that for more of a console version? Like, what if we could get people who play it on Xboxes and PlayStations to play the same way that they would have played World of Warcraft on their PCs? You saw that with Diablo a little bit, like Diablo having seasons and things that you'd go through.
And they've got another big one coming out, right?
Yep. Or even the sports game people. I know that we have known some sports game people in our lives.
Yeah.
And that's the game. They buy the one game, maybe a second one, maybe they'll buy Call of Duty as well that year, but they'll buy Madden. They'll play season mode on Madden. They'll play online multiplayer stuff with Madden, and that's all they do. That's all they need. There's a lot of gamers. It's a whole big subsection of video game players who really just need 1 to 2 games a year, and maybe they'll splash a third because it'll be the year that a Grand Theft Auto comes out, so they'll buy that one too. But most of the time, they'll be like, I'll buy my Madden, I'll buy my Call of Duty, and I'm set. And I don't think that's as much the case anymore, because specifically because Call of Duty's been so weird. But
Arc Raiders got all the Call of Duty people this year.
Probably, at least a big chunk of them.
Yeah.
But there are still a bunch of people like you and me who want to play all the video games or play a ton of different kinds of video games. But there's honestly probably a bigger portion of people who are more like that first.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, I think the top 10 most played games are 7 or 8 year old video games at this point. Like, yeah. I mean, fuck, dude. Skyrim's still on people's playlist right now.
Oh, absolutely. Sure. But when you think about a Bungie, or you think about a BioWare, and they're making their new video game, or more specifically the corporate overlords, whether it's EA or whether it's Bungie corporate, or when they were owned by Sony, they're thinking, what if we could get the people who buy 2 video games a year, or the people who play World of Warcraft and they only play World of Warcraft? What if we get those people? And then we have those people. Then we have the World of Warcraft. Then we have the Madden. Wouldn't you want that? And the answer is, for Destiny at least, it was, yeah, you got them for a little while, but then you had to keep them. And and the way Bungie makes video games, the things that people love Bungie games for, are not necessarily the things that can be sustainable in the same way that World of Warcraft was sustainable or Madden is sustainable.
I mean, do you think Marathon's going to be more sustainable than Destiny?
Yes and no. I think it's more easy to maintain than Destiny is. Destiny is a game that required a bunch of story, required a bunch of unique, bespoke missions and maps and things like that. And Marathon is going for that Tarkov kind of feel of, what do they have, like 4 maps that they've told us about so far? And I think that's going to be the only 4 maps in the game at the moment. You know, I'm sure they'll add more maps, but they're just building a multiplayer thing at this point. And building a multiplayer game that is supposed to have a defined loop over and over and over again, you know, that's similar to making what's the Titanfall developers one?
Apex?
Yeah, that's like making an Apex Legends. That's like making a Fortnite. And you know, they put certainly a lot of effort goes into those games, and they make a bunch of new stuff for those games. But it's a lot different from the deep story and the voice acting and the asset creation and the level design that you saw from a Halo or from a Destiny.
Sure.
And that's why I think a Marathon is a much more sustainable kind of game to make. It's not the game I want. I want that bespoke story stuff. I want them to make more Halos. I want them to make more single player Destiny style games. But those are not the forever games that people play, and that's why they don't make them as much anymore.
Well, Chase, I'm sure that you fell in love with this game. I'm sorry to tell you that you're not going to be able to play it.
Bobby, are you all Anthemed out?
I'm not Anthemed out, unfortunately. Anthem is Anthemed out.
How much more do you expect to play Anthem between now and next Monday when the server?
Yeah, honestly, man, like I'll just over here to credits so we can start chatting through this really quick.
Are you going to be online when they shut it down?
I don't know what that is. If there is something, I think I would like to. I have a feeling.
I mean, I don't think they're going to have like a meteor hit the world like World of Warcraft Cataclysm did, or I think there was another MMO that did something similar where they had like a big world-ending event that happened before the servers went down. I don't think Anthem's going to have that. I mean, can have it with the way it's built.
Do you know when that is? Like, do they have an approximate time?
I don't know the exact time.
When
it might be when we're playing. It might be when we're doing Casual Monday next week. So
yeah, I didn't know if it would be anything that we were going to play this on Monday, but I was like, they might be done.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could log in and see it, sure. To answer your question, the Star Rupture comes out tomorrow morning. I'm incredibly excited about that game, and so I'll probably be playing that in Arc Raiders through the weekend. I'm still playing, I'm playing a lot of Star Wars Outlaws right now and having a great time with that again. But I'll probably pop on this weekend. There's a friend of mine who mentioned wanting to play. And if they want to have one more like free play, I'll probably do that. But I don't know, man. It's weird. Like Anthem's been gone for a lot of us for years now, but it was nice to know that you could play it if you really like. Oh yeah, I can fire that up and check it out. And not having that option anymore is a bummer for sure when it comes to this stuff. But I really liked this game. I think this game had problems. I'm not going to sit here and deny that, but I still think this game was way better than it got pegged for. And it's unfortunate because I think that we've seen a lot of games get redemptions that probably, I don't even know if BioWare had it in them to finish the fight, to be quite frank. Even if they would have been given that green light, I don't think they would have taken it. But
Yeah, I think expectations doomed this game in a lot of respects. Doomed it from what it
BioWare, all of
probably
them.
wanted to be all along. As you mentioned, like this isn't necessarily the game that BioWare wanted to make when they set out to make Anthem. A game of expectations that players had based on the things that they were told by BioWare, by EA, um, and the expectations of just what the industry wanted at that time, which I guess is more like that first one, but
It's
it's a game that didn't live up to those things, and it kind of didn't matter what game it was at that point because it wasn't the game that people thought it was going to be, and that was enough to doom it.
There's a top comment here. It's a shame Anthem turned out. I'm sorry, it's a shame how Anthem turned out. The start of a long decline for BioWare. Nonetheless, people should not lose access to a product they paid for. I agree with that. I think that's a very fair take. I also wonder, had Andromeda not been awful when it came out, could have BioWare had a bit more grace for this? Like having this be as bad as it was for people right after Andromeda, really like, and I think that those are both after, I'm pretty sure, their big Dragon Age that did so well. I think that both of those came after that because Dragon Age was like an early
Inquisition.
PS4.
Yeah, I believe both of them came after Inquisition.
And then,
yeah, I don't know. I might even argue that they might have had less grace because you would have had that would have been the one that everybody was pissed about.
Oh,
in
sure.
the same way that Andromeda was. But I think almost expectations got lowered a little bit by we all saw how Andromeda came out. But then the idea was that maybe that was a fluke. Maybe that was just a one-off.
Yeah.
Maybe that game ended up bad, but Anthem's going to be good. And then Anthem also didn't live up to expectations, which I think really, one's a fluke, two's a trend, And
absolutely.
Yeah, that's rough.
Well, you and I have been teasing quite a bit here. If you wanted to follow along with all of us, that's not working.
Too bad. Fuck you.
I don't know why that's not working. I will say this much. We are going to be talking about some games that we've been playing on Wednesday night. We're also going to be telling you about a bunch of games coming out that we think that might be worth your attention. Sounds like Chase has been very busy. He doesn't tell me about these things when we're not, being paid to do it. So I didn't know that he's been playing video games. That's a shock to me.
You get paid to do this? Nobody told me.
$15.
Where have my checks been going?
$15 a pop, man. It's big spending over here. But no, Chase has been busy. I've been busy. We're gonna get to that. We've got a lot of fun stuff. So really, we've got a preview episode next week, a big dump of what you've been playing, and then a deep dive where we'll probably focus more on that one singular game this month. But we have a few games that we might be playing on Monday nights that you can tune in and hang out and hear a little bit more of us just chatting about some of the other stuff going around the game. So if you are a fan of our show and you enjoy listening to us talk about podcasting stuff, well, come over to the stream on Monday. We do exactly what we're doing. We'll play a game, shoot the shit about other stuff.
And this also is kind of the introduction a little bit of our new Monday format where we can, Casual Mondays used to be mostly about strategic games or card games or run-based kind of games, and while Anthem was on our minds because of the shutdown about to happen, this is more the way that Mondays are going to go for this year. That we're going to try to expand the kinds of games we play on Monday, let Bobby play some other things at me, and see how it goes. Now, we'll certainly come back some days and do Fights in Tight Spaces or Monster Train. We'll come back to some of our favorites for sure, but this gives us more opportunities to play more different things, especially because we have cut our Casual Fridays show, which is where Bobby was playing, more of that grab bag feel. Now you're going to get more of that grab bag feel on Mondays, and that'll be exciting for me as well to see a lot more different kinds of games as well. Bobby plays all the video games. I don't play any video games, so Bobby might as well show me one or two over the course of this year on Mondays, right?
And there might be some chances for us to play some more stuff together too, because a lot of those games that we played were more, one person.
That's
but
true.
there's like, there could even be a couple opportunities this month for Chase and I to do some co-op stuff that you might hear about. So, this is going to be a lot of fun. I think this format feels good. I know we can stream whenever we want to. We might be on Fridays every now and again, but for the time being, we're going to be focusing on Monday. and Wednesday being live and giving you audio only on Friday. That's the plan right now for what we're doing. I got this working for some reason. The cloud bot was just turned off on the dashboard, so there we go. Chase, outside of our stuff this week, we have Anthem that we played tonight. Thank you for being here for it. Preview episode on Wednesday. What are you doing between all this stuff? What can people find you doing?
On Wednesday, there will be another episode of Chase K Plays Go Play a Star War, where I am playing a different BioWare video game. Playing Star
a
Wars
not dead one.
Republic. It's not dead. They
coming back,
putting out versions of it all the time, and apparently there's still a KOTOR remake somewhere, even though there's also this new Old Republic game that's coming out someday. But apparently both of those games are
who knows
in some form or fashion. But if you want to go watch me play through excuse me, Nice Old Republic for the first time in an extremely long time, I'm just finishing up, or I'm like halfway through. What planet am I on? I'm not on Tatooine anymore. I'm not on Kashyyyk yet. I'm in Korriban. That's where I'm at.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going through the Valley of the Gods, Valley of the Sith Lords, and
that's a cool one.
That's fun. It's fun to go,
especially if you're playing as a Sith.
I am. I'm going full dark side, baby. So that's been really
good gear there.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I went, and I was like, I need to get some cool swords or whatever.
Yeah.
And, have not been disappointed yet. So go check that out. New episodes every Wednesday. This is episode 14, I believe, coming out. So there's quite a bit of that out there. I've also got my other podcast that I do with my good friend Pierce Corshane. It's called Pilot Program, where Pierce and I watch the first episodes of every television show ever made. We are actually recording our newest episode this week.
Get out of here.
We are. We're going to be watching Star Trek, the original series. So that'll be interesting. I've now watched that first episode a couple times now to make notes and do things with. So I'll be very interested to see what Pierce thinks about it, and then have a conversation about it. I know that first episode is not necessarily well loved by the community, but I think it is interesting to see where it puts the characters and how it introduces us to things. So that's what we do on Pilot Program. So go check that out. Hopefully that'll be up this weekend, maybe early next week. But always nice to have another one of those episodes out.
Hell yeah, man. All right, we'll be back on Wednesday to tell you about all the games coming out